going on, everyone? Welcome back to Nomadarwhat Homestead. Just taking a walk through the homestead and taking a look at what we got growing and what's looking good, what's looking healthy. There's blueberries, got a lot of different things. A lot of different things. This is one of my favorites. This is a sassafras tree. This smells, I guess it's almost like a soap. It smells like a cleaner. It smells really pleasant and fresh, almost like a lime or lemon. Sassafras, really nice smell, really pleasant smell. These blueberries over here, got these from probably, I think, Walmart. They're not looking great, but they're growing, so that's really what matters. Raspberries over here, so when I went to Vermont to visit Steph's family, they had a huge patch of raspberries, and they just gave me a bunch of raspberry plants that I was able to plant around the property. And so every year that I go there, I try to harvest something. We got grapes. I don't know the variety of these grapes. We got 1, 2, 3 up there, and then there should be another one down over in this area here. Let's see if I can find it. Right here. And then we got this grape here. Obviously, I could clean up and prune up some of these things, but this here is a nitrogen fixer. I forget the name of it. Not I forget what it's called, but it's a nitrogen fixing tree. So that's gonna help this area here add more nitrogen to the soil. So I'm gonna leave that, let that grow. I'll probably be digging that out later this year. Got another one there. I'll probably just leave that one because there's 2 here. So I'll dig that one up, plant that somewhere else. Take a look at the strawberries. We got some berries getting red in here. We do got some berries getting red. We're gonna have significantly more strawberries than what we had last year. And this patch here is full of ever-bearing strawberries. So the whole year, or not the whole year, but for the next 2 to 3 months, it's not a lot of strawberries in this area, I'll be frank, compared to what I had over at Nelson on our original property. But it's more than what we had last year. And I would assume by next year, this whole area in here is going to be nice and coated with strawberry plants. Got some garlic growing here. It ain't looking great, but it ain't looking too bad either. So we got a lot of different, let's take a walk down here. Black locust, some black locust. I think this might be like a hazelnut or something like that. So one of the things that I did, it really made a big difference with getting our trees and just getting them put in the ground, so that way I don't have to pot everything right now. So what I did is I just mounded up a bunch of dirt, and then I just planted the trees in those mounds, all these bare roots, planted them in the mounds. And as you can see, obviously I gotta move them a little bit, but aside from that, I don't want them too close to each other. Aside from that, look at, they're doing pretty good. This one not so much. This got beat up pretty bad. There was a caterpillar on it, but we'll see what happens. So we got our gooseberries. So I'll be moving this. I gotta swap this out for a currant. So what I have, which I'll show you guys down the line here, we were gonna have gooseberry, currant alternating. I may even consider putting blueberries in between those, but we'll see. And then this here is our row of apple trees and pear trees. These will be getting put in pots next year, but as of right now, I'm leaving them here so they can just grow, develop really nice root systems, and then come spring next year or the winter of next year, I'll be once the soil gets soft enough, essentially next year, I'll be digging all of these up and putting them in pots or around the property. Eventually, we will be having trees for sale. It's just going to take some time. As you can see, got a lot of work to do, opening things up, collecting rocks. So what I've been doing is organizing the rocks by color. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but this here is all of our black rock that I've been stashing because I'm going to do something. I have plans for the rocks. We got all kind of different types of rocks out here. And I've kind of gone partial to the aesthetic look of them. Obviously, that has to get cleaned up. This originally was our campsite when we first started staying, and it just didn't really work out. So I kind of left some of that junk here. But yeah, obviously, you got to get clean. I'm not ashamed to show we got messes here. So actually, I'll go down this way. So as you can see, I got a lot of the stuff put in the areas in which I anticipate that I'm going to want to plant them. Obviously, I got to clean stuff up. I'm going to be cutting these up and using these for stakes, for plant markers around the property. So I just have a better understanding as to where things are and what those things are. So we got gooseberry, currant, lavender. Right here, this here is a sunflower. We got a couple of sunflowers, some lilies. Now, obviously, some things ain't looking so great. We got our lilac here. All of those are strawberries, various varieties of strawberries. Every last one of these. So we're gonna get these tags in there. So next year, what I'll be doing is cleaning up these pots, right? Taking some of these strawberries and putting them in their own pot. So as you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I'll probably end up doing is leaving 3 in each of these 3-gallon pots, and then taking them out and then just putting a bunch of 3, because these are 3-gallon pots. So I'll have next year a bunch of these 3-gallon pots with the various strawberries. So right now, to give you an understanding, we got 2 pots per strawberry. I got a big pot, which I think is like a 15-gallon pot or 10-gallon pot, and then this 3-gallon pot. Next year, I'll more than likely take them out of this big pot, or at least take some of them out of the big pot, and then put them in these smaller pots. And then hopefully the following year, come 2027, we'll then be able to start having strawberries for sale. But I actually might be able to have strawberries for sale sooner than that. It's just work that I have to do. I'm really excited. Our figs are, well, these are figs that we got this year. The figs that I got last year died. So these figs are alive and they're growing, which I'm really excited about. Our asparagus. So what I did is I potted up all the asparagus, and then once I have an idea as to where I want to put the asparagus, I'll be taking those crowns and putting them in their respective places. We got heritage red, raspberry. So one thing that you'll notice is I really am meticulous. I'm trying to make sure I have all of my things labeled because, again, I do plan on having a nursery. Not plan. We are going to have a nursery. And in order to ensure that we can be consistent in the things that we provide, I want to make sure I have all the names of all the various things that we have on the property, because some do better than others. And I want to make sure that I prioritize the ones that are thriving and then hold back on the ones that aren't. But as you can see, gooseberry, currant, and it's easy for me to tell because I'm learning I've learned the leaves, and then obviously these have thorns. Gooseberries have thorns. Currants do not. And actually, some of these actually had some berries. We got all these this year, and that's why I didn't put them in the ground, because I like to give my plants a good opportunity. I don't give them the best setup. So what I do in the pots is I put a little bit of wood chips. I take some of the native soil, mix that with some clay soil, mix that with some perlite. I think next year I'm gonna add vermiculite to my mix. And then that's it, and some peat moss. I do like to use peat moss because that really helps fluff up the soil a little bit. I've realized for the bushes and things of that effect, it's not as big of a concern. It's mostly for the seeds that I have to be more mindful. And I actually think that I'll probably start using mostly peat moss, perlite with a little bit of the soil next time around, for my seeds, because I was very, very unlucky with my seeds. As you can see, the walk raw is coming along, pretty much done, right? So the way that we're going to be getting up, so it's more than likely walk up in here, or this pathway here makes the most sense. Just walk right up and boom, 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 boom. And I just got to clear this out a little bit. But the rock wall is coming along. See some gooseberries or currants growing. Some more trees. Got our trees lined up here. And I actually want to show y'all something that's pretty fucking insane. So this tree here, this will give you an idea as to how resilient trees actually are. Okay? Believe it or not, this tree here, I accidentally broke it with the excavator and cut it off right here with the excavator. And it bounced back. Believe it or not, it bounced back. So I've been using the wood. Originally, this was going to be for the foundation for the house. But with, life changes and things, just had to reevaluate things. So I've been using this to build the decking and foundations up there. I spent a lot of money on this wood, and a lot of it, got ruined, unfortunately, just with the weathers cracking and, as you can see, splitting and all this shit. So I'm gonna do what I can with it. I'm gonna use it. Our hardy kiwi, my little makeshift trellis. For those that have been around, you'll remember the original tent that we bought, the white duck tent, high quality tent, got destroyed, unfortunately. But what I'm using these poles as a trellis. So that's pretty much it. Then, as you can see, has another connector there, so I could connect another pole here if I want to extend the trellis. He has got a couple of things growing. I think that's some Swiss chard, some sunflowers. That filled this bare area in. Now what I did is I mounted this up. So there's logs that I put here. Consider the logs like a retaining wall. You know what I mean? Like a bullshit retaining wall. And then I'm putting soil into that, and eventually that'll break down. The roots will, bind all the soil and everything together over time. So another currant over there. Actually, let's go grab this and bring it back while I'm out here before I forget. And this road took a while to make. It's really, really coming along really, really nicely. It used to be just a fucking mud pit trying to get through this area. But as time goes and the rain helps sculpt the land. Oh, this has gooseberries. We do got some gooseberries. Pretty amazing. Alrighty. Let's go. Our solar panels. 450-watt panels. $100 a piece. Now, it would have been nice to upgrade our systems a little bit more or refine our systems a little bit more and save a little bit money if I would have known what I was doing. When I say systems, I'm talking about the solar. But you do what you can with what you have. All right. These are all trees that we recently got. I potted these up. These are plums, mostly standard. But I really, really want plums. Now you can see. These are the type of things that you have to worry about. I don't want to get rid of you, but you got to go because you're fucking up my plants. You see? So I'll go put you somewhere. You can stay. You just can't stay here. You know what I'm saying? Really looking forward to getting some plums. Some more raspberries over here. What variety is this? Latham Red. I like these actually because their spikes they're not as spiky as some of the other ones. Like the Vermont Reds is what I call them. Is these here. They're a little bit more spiky, but as you can see, these are going to be full of berries. These are going to be nice and full of berries. And this is just one plant. This is something I'm really proud and excited for. Blackberries. This is the wild blackberry that was on the property when we first bought it. I mean, it was scattered all over here, just thorned blackberries everywhere. But the problem was they were huge, they were small, they were just everywhere. And if you know anything about blackberries, raspberries, they spread like a vine underground. And even if I were to say cut this stick and put it in the ground, there's a chance that part of this roots somewhere. That's how easy it is to grow these. Now, getting quality fruit, that's a whole nother thing. You don't always get quality fruit, but if you can see here, those are the blackberries forming. So I'm really excited to see the size and the flavor of these blackberries. I got it consolidated here. Look at this stalk here. Look at that. This is a tree, mind you. This is a plum tree, right? This is almost as big as the plum tree. Now, I came this year, this plum tree was looking real dismal. For those that have seen it, like it was looking real dismal. But I came through and I decided that I wanted to prune it up a little bit, okay? And that's what I did. And it took really nicely to the cleaning up. And now I'm just going to let it grow. Just going to let it kind of do its thing and grow. So that way next year, we may have an opportunity to get some fruit. Planted some lilies here. Looking forward to that. Lilies are probably one of my favorites. Apples, Fuji, red Fuji. Yeah, we have so many different varieties of apples. This here is I'm really excited about this, but I'm also very nervous. This is a strawberry patch. This is our white pine strawberry patch. And as you can see, it is full of plants and it also is full of berries. Okay. My concern is that these berries are too small, but they are slowly, very slowly becoming ripe, as you can see. But I still got to do things like this, which this here is one of those blackberry plants. So I got to pull it up, right? and get rid of it. And that's what I got to do in all these areas is just, manage that's how you manage the garden. You know, you got to do these things or else it becomes unruly. Take a look here. This is black cohosh. It's a flower. I'm looking forward to it. Got my mint. This here is my spearmint. Yep, like the gum. Real good. More blueberries. Look at this. Look how prolific this is. Look at all them berries. I'm looking forward to that. Look at this. More berries here. More berries. And this thing is going to blow next year. Apple tree. What's this? Pink lady. Golden delicious. Now, some of these, they had a lot of flowers. And I was hoping to get fruit off of some of them. They did pollinate some of them, but not. Oh, look at that. As I'm saying. I'll probably get rid of this one. And we'll get, I think all of our apple trees that have fruit ended up with one apple this year. But that's what happens. It's life. Another grape. Now, one of the things that I have to be mindful of in this area out here, there's a lot of Concord grapes and grape stuff like that. So I really have to be mindful of that. And that's why I make sure to mark things. So I don't get rid of things that I want to keep. And I don't keep things that I want to get rid of. Now, this might not be a blueberry. I thought this was a blueberry plant. This actually might not be blueberry plant. And if it's not, I will be pleasantly surprised. This might either be a honeyberry or a blue hascap. Because I just seen the berry that was on there and it did not look like a blueberry. Very interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I will tell you this. Look at that. Look how healthy that looks. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Our oregano, I have a lot of oregano all around. It's great because I like it. It's a pest deterrent. Adds foliage, ground cover, and then eventually, obviously, we're going to be using it. This here is my favorite fern. Has such a pleasant smell. This right here. This fern has such a nice smell. But mostly what I use it for is mulching. It's my mulcher. This here is our pink lady. No, our pink lemonade blueberries. This looks really healthy. Again, look how tall this thing is getting. It's almost like a tree, a blueberry tree. But I just got to let it grow. Hasn't produced any berries yet, but it's looking very healthy. And that's very, very important. I'll worry about the productivity a little bit later. If it doesn't produce next year, then maybe I might need to have to add some fertilizer or something like that. And as far as when I say fertilizer, I make my own fertilizer. So we'll see what happens there. So this here is another thing that I'm working on. I'm clearing out all these trees because eventually a lot of those trees are going to be planted in this area here. So I'm working my way back, clearing these trees. Like, look at how big this tree is. I got to cut that bitch down. Okay? And then the tree behind it, I got to cut down. And then all those fucking trees I got to cut down. So that way the sun penetrates this area a little bit better and the sun could start penetrating in this lower canopy a little bit too. But I first have to take a look around and look at certain things. Like, for instance, you see up in there? Let's see if you guys can see. See that? That is a bird's nest. I don't want to be a complete asshole and just start indiscriminately cutting down trees, even if I don't need them. Like, there's certain pine trees I want to get rid of. I don't need them there, But so this here is my dirt pile that I'm using for my trees and my plants. I get me a scoop, I plop it down, Good to go. As you can see, this all used to just be mud and just, there was no way. But as you can see, it's starting to pack down. I'm clearing it up. The water has helped sculpt the land. So it's doing its thing. Eventually we'll get this up and running. But look at this. This is mint. This is my spearmint. Look at the size of these leaves. Okay? This is a mint leaf. All right. Give you some perspective. This is mostly what y'all get from the store. Look at the size difference. And when I say this is pungent and potent, it is pungent and potent. What I do is I take these and I, just wipe my face with it. And that helps deter the bugs. And it's a nice cooling agent. It feels nice. More raspberries. So you'll notice that around the property, the one thing that I did is I just planted raspberries every fucking where. Because my thought was at the time, we weren't sure what we were going to do with the property as far as when we were going to move out here. And life kind of just moved along and kind of forced us into this position quicker than what we anticipated. So I had already planted these things here. So I just had to have to deal with it and now kind of manage them where they are. But as you could see, I'm working my way, still clearing this area out. Right, working my way in. And this is Crystal Garden. As you can see, before it just used to be this one rock. But it's a little bit more than that now. Make sure I don't got no ticks on me. So these pear trees weren't doing too good. The deer were coming through and browsing and eating them. A lot of things growing here. There's some blueberries over here. Let's see how they're doing. This is blueberry right here. This is blueberry. So. And then there's some more over here. This one here. As you can see, starting to get some berries on it. And then we got one more down here, right here. And my plan is to come out here with the weed whacker because I don't have a mower yet. But as you can see, I like my crystal rocks. Any rock that really shines and shimmer white like this is going to be coming out here. But as you can see and take a look around, it's just a sea of green. Different types of ferns I'm learning about. All kind of food out here, all kind of wild things. More raspberries over there. Now let's take a look at some things that were actually planted. More things. Got our clovers, which I'll be harvesting the seed later. See, it's not looking too good. Same thing over here. See, it's been browsed. Something's nibbling at it. Come down here. This area is just, see, this is a bog. So I may move this. You hear that? That's no good. I don't like that. I need to take this and move it maybe back up in here a little bit. It's probably what will end up happening, but we'll see. We'll leave it there for now. And then as you come down here, I got a little patch of things planted here, mostly lilies, so that way I can tell where those things are. So when I come through with the weed whacker, I'll stay right in front of all of that. And this here will give you an idea as to what I mean about my piles of dirt. So I, boom, pile my dirt, and then I plant. There's some gooseberry, 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 and gooseberry. Now I may come back and change my mind, take that gooseberry out and put a currant, take that gooseberry out and put a currant. But we'll see. I might do that later with Josiah. That's our neighbor's property over here. All right, they got that on the side of that barbed wire over there. So now let's look for the low bush blueberries. See if we can find those. Oh, right over here. So right in here, these are low bush blueberries. Originally, I had dug some up, but they all died, the ones that I dug up. So I'm just gonna clear this area up and just help maintain this patch is my plan. The road is coming along. Every time I say it, it gets harder and harder to get it done, but it's working. It's getting there. So I got to get this. I got to raise this part up here so that the water goes that way, right? So that's the next step. But I might just get some gravel and just start filling this in with gravel, because I really did as good of a job as I could with raising this up, and I think gravel will help me take it to the next level. Because if I get some gravel and start laying those gravel down, I could get more dirt and put the soil on top of that gravel, and those rocks will help bind everything in. My Roa hostas. So you get your white variegated hosta. What's up, Bonesy? Watch it. Your white variegated hosta, your regular green hosta, your yellow variegated hosta. I just got those lined up all around, and that's because this whole area is just clay. As you can see, this clay, mud, and just dirty water, you know. So I don't want to put too much food or fruit or anything of value down here. So it's just plants and flowers for the most part down here that I do have to still maintain, but it's not a big priority right now. I just have the stuff there. Whatever's gonna grow and survive will grow and survive, and then I'll manage it that way. But we got more black raspberries here. So this is one that I'm leaving right here at the edge of the property, right? So we don't have to worry too much. Actually, let's get rid of this. All right. I haven't really done too much with that, but it is what it is. I got a lot of things that I don't really necessarily know the name. So this is one of my rock collection piles, as you can see. So these are the type of rocks that I'm collecting, and what I'll end up doing is, borders, and use them as an inlay for decorative pieces when I make things. So I'm not 100% certain what I'm going to do with them, but they'll be utilized. I'll be planting a tree here. I think I have put some rhubarb. Yeah, I think this is rhubarb here. Put rhubarb here, and I think I'll put another rhubarb up there. So lilac right here. It's growing real nice. Some flowers here. It's a nice little shrub. Flower going up this pathway here. And then that right there is a lilac. And then I got a bunch of flowers and plants lined all up around this border. Obviously, things aren't looking too great. I don't necessarily water. Look at the soil. I don't water, okay? I take that back. Very rarely will you find me watering. I will water my flower pots. That's just because they dry out significantly faster. than the ground. So I want to ensure that I do that. Pro tip, your mums. So those that get rid of their mums, you don't have to. Mums will come back, okay? So just put them to the side. If you like your mums and want them, grab your mums and then put them in the garage or put them, leave them outside on the side of your house, overwinter them. And then when it comes, just cover them with leaves. And then when the spring times come, bring them back outside and plant them. Let them do their thing or leave them in their pots. Add a little bit of, a little soil or something like that. Oh, this is a row of blueberries that I'm waiting for them to acclimate, and I'm waiting for them to look a lot better. I think that the lack of sun is playing a factor in that. But let's see here. My greenhouse. So these here are cuttings that I'm trying to root. I'm gonna leave these. I don't want to mess with them too much. Got some rhododendron, and some other trees. I forget. I just cut them, and I just put them in there as an experiment, just to test out the greenhouse and test out its capabilities for root cuttings without needing like too much infrastructure. Foxgloves, one of my favorites. Where's the sage? Oh, sage. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this sage. Look at this leaf. And when I say fragrant, I'm really partial to things that are fragrant. Very, very partial. Hey! Hey! This is all our pots. Again, an experiment. This is all an experiment. Just testing things out. Some of it has worked. Maybe some of it not so much. But you don't know unless you try. Some oak trees growing from seed. It's red oak. This is a bunch of various things. I won't bore you guys with talking about the names and shit like that off of everything here. I know a lot of you don't even know that stuff. So, and then we got in here, okay. This here is, I guess you can call it my pseudo compost bin. It's like where I dump my leftover plant materials. Like all these pots. Once I figure out what's dead, what's not, I'm gonna take the leftovers. I'm gonna dump it in there and just let it break down a little bit more, and then I could use that as a fertilizer or a mulch or something like that. Pear tree, another sassafras, some more trees, peach. Oh, let's take a look at that peach tree over there. Let's see how that's doing. This whole area here is our Vermont red raspberries. This whole area here, all Vermont red. That's not really a variety. It's what I call it because they've been growing up in Vermont for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. So at this point, it's its own variety and genetic at this point. It's just been sitting down and growing. But look at all these peaches. We are going to have peaches this year. Look at that. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having some fruit. It's a lot of work that we've been doing. So it'll be nice to really enjoy these fruits. Like, look at this tree. It's golden and delicious. Look at this. I do a pretty good job with pruning and setting things up. So if you do get a tree from me, just know it's gonna look good. Because I do try to take my time. I'm not a professional. What I do is I prune it to what makes sense, right? And I like an open center. That's one of my big things. I like to make sure that center's open, right? And then I could get these and have these trained to go like this, right? Leaving the center open, like this, okay? Have these trained like this. I'm going to leave this is going to stay like this until winter. After the winter, I'm going to take these off because then these will start to freeze and get really hard and firm. And I would want them to be able to give, right? I'm going to want them to be able to blow around. Right now, they're nice and supple and they're a little bit softer, more pliable. But in the winter, when the wood is a lot more firm and defined, I'll remove those brackets. More hazelnuts. Look at this here. Just nice, healthy, luscious green. You know, nectarines. We didn't get any nectarines yet. This looks like it's gonna die. But that's why you get multiple trees, because this is my thought process. You get one tree that survives, that you hope to survive, right? You get one tree that you expect to die. And then you get one tree to replace the one that you expect to die. Because typically speaking, with a lot of fruits, you need at least, like, apples, pears. You need two trees in order to get pollination. Um, I like the rule of three. I just like the rule of three. And if you could, go with four. So this is everything growing. As you could see, some things take a little bit longer in dormancy. I'll show you another project or um, carrots and pots. When I say I was having a god awful time growing carrots, I mean I was struggling. However, as you can see, these are in these pots, okay? And let me see this soil. And that soil was nice and moist in there, okay? Which is what carrots like. And it's been hot. Look at that. So these are going to grow in these pots their whole life. That's it. Now, I may put these in bigger pots next year, but for now, I want to see how they do in these 3-gallon pots. If we get a bunch of small little baby strawberries, great. At least I know it works, and I just got to upgrade the system a little bit more. But everything that you see is trial and error. Obviously, some of it is researched trial. Another peach tree. Look at these are going to be more of a rounded peach. But look at all these. Look at that. Okay. So I can grow some peaches. I can grow shit. But what is this? Another pink lady. But look how healthy. Look at this apple tree. Again, open center, right? So that way you can grab your fruit, right? I'm thinking about the long term when this thing gets really big and you want to get up in there, right? You want to be able put your ladder here and you want to be able to get up in there if you have to. Because a lot of what I have is dwarf and semi-dwarf. So they ain't gonna get but 10 feet. You know what I'm saying? So I will be getting more standard varieties though for us. The dwarf trees are more going to be what we sell. And the standard is going to be mainly for us. So that way we can have big, huge harvests. I want to have apples falling on the floor so I can just make apple cider, make applesauce or give them to the animals and feed them to the chickens and the pigs and goats and things to that effect. All right. So in order to do that, you need standard size trees because you need something that's going to produce a lot. And more than likely, standard size trees, they get so tall, it's hard to reach the fruit. So by that time, it's going to be strictly feed for the animals, which is great, for the birds, for the animals. And that's for the later part of the system, right? So you got to think about the infrastructure later down the line. And that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about what happens when the homestead is 10 years old. Okay. What happens when these things are 10 and 15? What happens we've been here for 10, 15 years? When I'm in my 50s, that's when I want to be able to just truly, truly benefit from all of this hard work. Obviously, I want to benefit now, but I would say in the next 5 to 10 years, I'll call it 5 years. In 5 years, that's when I really want to start just sitting back and enjoying the fruits of my labor. Like, come over here, look at these blueberries over here. You know what I'm saying? Going real nice, luscious in these pots. These will be getting taken out of these pots after this year, and we'll be finding a home for them somewhere. But this is just a little tour of the homestead, the garden, what we have growing. It's just some of it. Obviously, it's hard to take everything in and really see through a video. And then also, everything is really not in full bloom. And it all looks kind of chaotic. So there's that as well. Yep. Let's go take a walk. Has it rained for a few days? So let's go take a walk and take a look at the little pond up there. Our water hole. It's not necessarily a pond. Our frog pond. That's what I'll call it. Let's go take a look at our frog pond. And all these trails, everything you're saying, this is a lot of it is us. You know, this was logged many, many years ago. So it was logged, I want to say like, not many, many years ago. In logging terms, it was actually relatively recent. I want to say it was logged like anywhere between 7 to 10 years ago. It's getting low. It's getting low. But we still got water. Frogs is in there. And our frog eggs right there. So give them a home to live. And that's why we don't have any mosquitoes over in this area, because the frogs take care of this pond for me. So I give them a little ecosystem. They get to hide out, right, in these little caverns. You know, they have a place. Before, they used to be on the main road. And obviously, when we would drive in, they would just run over them because they would just put their eggs right there in the tire tracks because the tire tracks were so deep. So digging this pond out for them is it's a bonus for everybody. It gives us some water and it's good for them. Yep. But you know, it's so much going on. So sometimes you might not see me post for like a week or two. Just I'll be burnt out, you know, and my priority is the homestead, not really making YouTube or Instagram or Facebook videos. Obviously, I do that because I want to advertise what we have going on, because eventually we are going to be offering things for sale. And advertisement and watching people, having people watch and see what's going on, and you know, that just helps promote the business of what we will soon have. You know, little messes or whatever, little stations clean, whatever. See, I gotta collect my rocks, and I do things like that, collecting rocks. That obviously adds a layer of complexity to what I'm doing, because sometimes I can't just grab things and go because I'm too busy looking, oh, is that something I'm going to save? Is that something I'm going to keep? You know, you always have to consider these things. But here's the bathroom that we've been working on, getting this set up. So our insulation here, I'm not insulating this side because I do want a place for the propane to off gas. And now when we shower, we just leave this door open. Okay, you're gonna have this door closed. Pull the shower curtain. Shower head will be right here.
And then back here is where you have like all your space for your clothes and stuff like that. Towels will be in here, all that extra shit. But yeah. So one of the things that I do anticipate getting in here is a fan. I want to have a fan in here, and I want to keep that fan in the summertime oscillating, just to keep it from getting too hot and stagnant in here. But yeah, this is the future shower house. You know, you're putting the foam boards up, obviously for the winter. This will be getting a floor. I will be putting a floor in here, so that will help insulate as well as offer comfort. And then this will be the this is going to be the battery house. So all the batteries and everything like that will be in here. As you can see, insulated this all the way through. All the way through. Now, in theory, I could probably make this the bathhouse. I was considering that. I was considering making this the bathhouse, but this doesn't have a window. No, the vent system is okay. And you know what? I may reconsider doing that. No, this doesn't have enough space. One of the issues that I had with considering this to be the bathroom is just the space, and with it being a propane heater, and I just don't want to deal with that. Now, one thing that I was considering is putting the propane tank on the outside, so that way we don't have to worry about it off gassing or anything like that. But I don't know if I want to do that. We'll see. So I don't know if those know this, but this collapsed from the snow one time. And as I was walking to it, it collapsed. And I was not about to lose another structure to snow due to my lack of consideration and care to address the issue. So, got some logs, burnt them up. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, this one is going to get switched out a little for something that fits it. And then we'll get this all organized up. And then I'm going to get these braced. So, I'm going to get some things from here to here, right? Just bracing this to this, right? Just to keep it a little bit more structurally sound. So I do plan on doing some things, but it's gonna take a little time, and we do got to clear a lot of this stuff out as well, just to make life a little easier for us to operate. There's so many different projects I'm doing, that is where I find the difficulties is you sometimes end up spreading yourself thin. You know, you're just trying to do this, you're trying to do that, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. I'll probably end up using this log right here, actually. Working my way in clearing this back here so I could put trees up here as well. And that's the thing, like I'll be spending my life clearing. The rest of my life will be spent clearing these trees and planting for my kids. That the rest of my life I'll be which is okay, right? I'm not gonna really get to enjoy the things as much as my kids are going to enjoy the things that I'm doing. But that's what it is, you know. I want to be able, when everything is all said and done, leave something for my kids and my family, right? You could leave them some money. Great. What are they gonna do with that money, right? I'm ensuring that my children have a place to live, regardless of the money that they have. I'm ensuring that they're able to care for themselves and their families, regardless of how much money they make. Because when you could come to your home and, you know, 6 months out of the year, you can eat off of your property if you do things the right way, then that cuts into a lot of that cost. And when you can eat off your property the entire year, you know, maybe it's not 100% of your food, maybe you're eating 70 to 65% of your food, right? Off of your property, from the chickens, from the pigs, from the goats, from the turkeys, from the fruits, from the vegetables, nuts and berries, all those different things. And then having the skills needed to take care of these systems, because that's the other thing. Obviously, I'm not leaving them this property without the knowledge and the skills to maintain the property. So I don't really give Josiah a choice, right? I don't ask him, hey, do you want to know? Well, I take that back. Sometimes I ask him, do you want to go practice or do you want to work with me in the garden and help me out? And he does choose a lot of the times to come help me on the garden. I don't know if it's because he likes it or if he doesn't feel like practicing, but I digress. I don't necessarily give him an option to not work with me out there. I don't care if he doesn't like it, right? He doesn't need to like it. He needs to learn it so that way he understands it. So when he's older, he will appreciate it. Because that's one thing that we all know is when we grow up, you start to understand all the things that the old folks been telling you when you was a kid thinking that you knew better. You start to realize that some of that shit actually made sense. Despite whether you agreed with it or not, you start to reflect, like, maybe if I would have done that, things would be a little bit different. And obviously there's no point in looking back and crying over spilled milk. But also I see so many times nowadays people don't want to pressure their kids in doing the things that they feel as parents are the best things for their kids. Nowadays, so many philosophies are your kids are their own person and you should allow them to make their own decision. Yeah, I'll let him decide if what underwear he wants to wear, right? I'll let him decide what shoes he wants to wear or what shirt he wants to wear, you know? But I'm not going to let him determine what he does with his day-to-day life. You want to know why? Because if I allowed him to determine that, most kids would sit around all fucking day not doing anything, just like people. That's just like people. And that's another point that I got to make to this. If you look at this and think, oh man, that's so easy. Look, it must be just living life, not having to. I don't work a 9 to 5 job, right? I stopped saying I don't work because I've come to realize what I'm doing out here is far more difficult than what I used to do on 9 to 5 jobs. I did everything. UPS, I was a PCA, food services, retail. I mean, I lawn care. Like I've done so many different jobs in my life. And this by far is one of the most difficult things to do because there's so many unknown variables. When you get disease in your plants, you think it's this, but it might be this, but then it might not be nothing. There's so many different things that you have to consider. Animals, uh, weather, insects, plant placement, companion planting, light, watering, like, and that's just the system for the garden. And then take on to consideration, I'm building the homestead. I got to build the house, and the concrete, and the cutting the trees, and all these different logistical things that I have to learn and take into consideration with no experience or no formal background. So I no longer. What's up, Chipmunk? Look at him chilling. Now I've been leaving this here, and this is probably where he got a little home in here. If I had to guess, I see you over there. Look at that cocoon. We'll leave him be. I'll put him back. Anyways, we're gonna wrap things up. Appreciate you staying along. Things will be looking a little bit better, and I'll get a little bit more organized with my videos. I know sometimes I just be rambling and just all over the place, but that's my niche. Journey to No Matter What Homestead. Stay tuned.